Hi everyone! My name's Natalia, and I love two things. One, nails and making nails for my friends. And two, the Taemin. Let's make a set of nails. Okay, so you're going to need a few things for the set of nails. One, some black gel. I'm using just Born Pretty's Pure Black. Some white gel. Again, Born Pretty's Pure White. Really nice and cheap. Some white magnetic gel. Also Born Pretty. So that's what I'll be using for that. Next, we're going to need some blue magnetic gel. I'm using the Rosy Hip RM10 from the Gemstone collection. It's beautiful. I love it. A little pricey, but what are you going to do? We need some ink. I have some white ink and then some blending liquid. You can also use acetone here, but I just used the blending liquid that came with it. Next up, we're going to need some matte top coat. Also Born Pretty. I don't actually own that much Born Pretty stuff, but apparently for this one, I do. And we need some blooming powder. This is some Mei Chow brand blooming liquid, blooming gel, not powder. What am I talking about? And I use Crazy Top Soft as my top coat, but you can use any sort of, glossy top coat you want. And I've also made some custom decals on water slide decal paper. They're transparent. In addition, I'm going to be using some Cocoist non-wipe accessory bond in black and some silver chrome powder. But you can use any sort of non-wipe top that you want for that. I also have a Diami liner brush that I will be using, but any liner brush will do. In addition, we need a little sponge, for the chrome, that sort of thing. And let's get to it. But first, always, the most important thing, wear gloves. You do not want to be getting some allergies while doing gel nails, so please stick your hands in some nitrile gloves and let's get to it. Okay, first off, we're going to be doing the thumb. So first, we're going to be doing a coat of some white gel polish on the thumb. So you're going to want to do 2 coats, curing fully in between. If you have like a more pigmented white polish, you won't have to, but I'm just using the cheap stuff here, so I have to put on 2 coats. But you know what? It is what it is. So cure that. Next, when you have the 2 coats, we're going in with the white magnetic polish. I do really love this particular Born Pretty gel nail polish. The magnetics is really fine and really nice. The only problem is the brush is kind of terrible, but listen, it was $5. I'm not gonna, lose my mind over this. Next, you're gonna take your magnet and you're just going to, activate all of the little particles. Get it all. You just sort of want to gather them in the middle by going all around, and you want it to be as sort of in the middle because we're going to be putting a decal on top of it. So you're going to flash cure that so they don't move, and then fully cure it. Next, you're going to take your little decal. I'm using this one here. I've used it on transparent decal paper. Normally for most of my little designs that I do like this, I use white, but this one only works because it's transparent. I had a random transparent sheet in my office and was like, let's do something fun. So we're going to slide that off really gently. Boop, 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 boop. Very nice. These are so delicate. And then you're just going to stick it right over there. So what's really nice is that the lighter parts, the magnetic gel is going to show through it, which is what I was kind of trying to do. Now you're going to use your fingers, you're going to press it all around. You want to get it as smooth as possible. It won't be perfect, but it is what it is. So you're going to make it as smooth as possible, and then you're going to gently, once it's in place and sort of sealed down, you want to use your little file to file off the edges. That's right. Get those edges off of there. Since this has a black thing, I'm filling in the gaps with some black gel polish here. If you're using one that doesn't have a black background or a smaller nail, you won't need to do this, but this is just how this worked out because I was using medium almonds instead of short like I normally do, but it is what it is. So just go around, on just filling in any gaps that are showing. And then you're going to want to just cure that fully once you have it done. Okay, next, you want to cover this with a matte top coat because we are going to be doing some isolated chrome. I have noticed that the Born Pretty gel, like the matte top coat, does work really well for me personally for isolated chrome. So that's what I use. So cure that. Okay, you have a nice matte surface. We're going to be grabbing the Cocoist Black Accessory Bond. And then this part's really great because you don't actually have to be good at painting particularly smooth or straight lines because you're going to be doing sort of like choppy, sort of an abstract choppy vibe to it. I've really been into this sort of look that it has like a, I don't know, it's sort of like an edgy appeal to it. So you're just going to go around all of the edges with this. And it's like super easy to do. And then, yeah, picking a cat hair off of my brush there because my cat is a long-haired cat and gets her hair everywhere. All right, so keep going all around the edge. Add a few sort of inside. Just go with what your heart leads you on this one. There are no wrong ways to put this random edgy little design around the edges. Once you're happy with your design, cover that up, very important. And I just use a flash cure little pin light and just do it for the full amount. I think it's like 30 seconds or something. You don't want to do the full cure or the chrome won't stick super well. Then you just take your little chrome, take a little sponge or an applicator and just rub it on. Look at that, beautiful. So shiny. And that is the thumb done for now. Next up, I'm making the middle and the ring finger the other two decals. So I want, like, they're sort of turned towards each other. I'm using the Taemin Veil promo images, and so I want one sort of looking up at the other one. So we're going to do the same steps as we did with the thumb using the magnetic polish, where you're going to just put it on and then gather, with this one, more of the magnetic polish is showing. So you can sort of do a more interesting magnet choice if you want, but I'm just sort of doing the same sort of gathering it mostly in the middle, flash curing, and then doing the same to the other nail. And after you flash cure it to keep the magnet in place, you're going to want to fully cure those. Oops. Next up, we're going to be putting like a little bit of a blue design to make it slightly more interesting than just this. So we're going to take the blue magnetic gel and we're going to put a thin coat of blooming gel over the nail. Real easy. And then we're going to take our liner brush and take a little glob. You don't have to be super precise with this either, which is great. Take a little glob of the blue and we're just going to make some like little swirly bits, just sort of a nice little swirly situation happening. As I said, this nail set, you don't even need to use decals to do these. If you don't have them, you can just use or if you have like a nail sticker or something, but it still makes a very fun, easy design for someone who may not be super confident with like line art or whatever, because it's really chill. So we're going to take the magnet and we're just going to sort of slightly magnetize these so they bring up, see a little bit of shine there. Heck yeah, looking good. And then we're going to, get it the way you want it. And then flash cure to keep it in place. Boop, 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 boop. You don't need to do it for long because we're going to fully cure these after. And you're going to do the exact same thing on the other one. So next, it's time to put these decals on. You dunk it in some water, Let it soften up, usually about 15 seconds-ish. And then pull it out. Doop, doop, doop. Pat off the water. Gently slide it off. And then slide it onto the nail. I'm doing it point side down because when you hold your hand, like when you're looking at them, and you fold your fingers, it'll look like it's right side up. But you can do it whichever direction you want. I usually do the thumb the opposite way just because, I don't know, I just think it looks nice. But we're going to do the same with the other nail. Get those decals looking at one another. Yeah, do. Pat it off, slide it off, put it on the nail, and then just like with the thumb, you're just gonna press it into place and then file off the overhang. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Try to get it as smooth as possible. But as I said, it won't be perfectly smooth, but you can make it pretty close. And it'll even out when you put the top coat over it, so don't worry about it too much. There we go. All right, now we're gonna top this with matte top coat because you guessed it, we're doing more isolated chrome on these bad boys. So you have to make sure that you get all the edges. You want everything to be covered because the matte top coat is also kind of sealing the decals down at the same time. Little dual purpose situation. Alright, now once you got those all covered, put them in the lamp and give them a full 60-second cure. Okay. Just like before, it's time to pull out that black accessory bond from Cocoist, or, you can also just use regular top coat if you want. I find this works nice. And then you just want to do some, like, funky little swirly design situations. As I said, they don't have to be perfect. They're just sort of like an abstract, edgy look. Just put them wherever you think would have a nice, like it would be nice to have a little silver pop, a little vibe, I try to make sure that some go off the edge so that like it looks, you want it to look cohesive, but you just go where your heart leads. And then when you do, once you have it, once you've got it all nicely fixed up, you're going to cover your stuff before using your little lamp just in case, and then just cure it. And then you're going to do exactly the same thing to the other nail because they are a little set. And once again, once you've got it the way you like it, cover it up. Move your brush out of the way so you don't accidentally cure that too. And flash cure all of that. Because next up, you guessed it, it's time to cover these bad boys in silver. We're going to pull out our silver. This is just cheap. I got this on, I think, AliExpress, the silver powder. This is just a makeup sponge from the dollar store. Nothing fancy, but still works great. I'm gonna pull that up. Ooh, so shiny. I love isolated chrome. I'm a little obsessed with it, to be honest. And these are looking great. And we can set these aside while we finish the last two nails in this set. Okay, beautiful. For the last two nails, you're going to want to put 2 coats of black on the nails to start. You want to go, especially with black, in very thin coats so that you're sure that it fully cures. And fully cure between each layer. Once you've got your 2 layers, we're going to be pulling out our white nail ink. I got this on AliExpress. It's not expensive. And make sure to shake it up real well. The nice part about this is, yet again, I'm terrible with ink, and I still managed to make something nice with this. You just sort of do a little swoopity swoop, sort of like a, yeah, just sort of at a diagonal there, and it's going to look kind of weird. You're going to let that dry a bit, just for like 10 seconds, and then get your blending liquid, or I've heard you can use acetone, but I just use blending liquid. And then we're just going to sort of futz with it with the blending liquid until it looks interesting. It's hard to explain. You just sort of like go over it and it makes it just look nicer. More like sort of like it's like a marble situation. Like there's sort of like seams of color running through was the vibe here. But as you can see, I'm not using any particular special technique. I'm just sort of dipping and swirling around, following sort of the same diagonal that I put the original in, and it turns out looking pretty nice if I do say so myself. Once you're done with this step, you're going to want to let it dry for like, I don't know, like a minute or so before doing the next step, because I didn't even bother coating it yet. I was futzing forever with it, as you can see, but I think it looks pretty cool. All right. So the next step, you're going to be grabbing your rosy hip or whatever, you know, blue magnetic gel or whatever color you want. Make it, you know, it's your nails. Make it whatever color you want. And you're just going to put like some, you know, irregular shaped blobs. I put 3 on this nail. You could put however many you want. You're just sort of like doing little blobbies. Just little weird shaped blobbies. Sort of like it's like a cut seam of a gemstone, I think is what I was going with. And then you're going to want to magnetize them to be, you know, however the vibe that you're looking like, that you are feeling, so that they look pretty. And then you're gonna cure that bad boy. I just use a little flash cure to keep them in place, because you don't want those magnets moving before you can, you know, fully cure them. Then you want to stick it in for the full cure. Next, it's our good old friend, matte top coat. That's right, there's going to be even more isolated chrome. Coat it very well. This will also seal in the ink from before and set this up for more isolated chrome to finish off these nails. I did both the index finger and the pinky with this technique. Pulling out our non-wipe accessory bond again. The non-wipe is the most important part, because that's what makes the chrome stick. And you're gonna, with this one, you're gonna sort of follow loosely around the edges of the little blobs that you made. Sort of like we're setting them in silver, but it's still gonna be the same messy, like, you know, sort of edgy look to it. You can go a little bit on top of some of them. It's totally fine, because we want them to sort of be inset in the silver, was like the idea behind it. You're happy with how this looks, we're going to be doing the exact same step with the flash curing, and then of course the covering it in silver. So remember, cover up all close all of your things before pulling out the flash cure lamp. Give a nice nice little flash cure. This is usually about 30 seconds. And then get that silver back out. The reason, by the way, the reason that my containers look like that is I knocked over a bottle of acetone on my desk. So, some of my containers look a little, you know, the plastic got a little hit by the acetone. But anyway, rub that silver on there. And then use the the other opposite corner to rub off any more, like any excess. I also on this one did notice that there was a bit too much silver on the middle stone. So all you have to do if that happens, just take a Q-tip. You'll see in a second. Take a Q-tip, dip it in some alcohol, and just sort of carefully wipe off any of the places that, you know, maybe you didn't realize there was a stroke there and it just looks a little crowded with the silver. Just it's easy to clear up, just like that, and voila. Okay. Finally, the final step. It's time to put a glossy top coat on these. I am using the Jinbei Crazy Top. While I may cheap out on color gels, I do not cheap out on the top coat. Using my little brush here. I prefer a potted top coat myself. I really do like the Jinbei Crazy Top, but it is a little pricey. I get it on Sweetie Nail Supplies, but I am obsessed with it. But you can use whatever glossy top coat you desire. Just make sure you are carefully capping all of the edges and tips of these nails, especially because of the chrome. You want that to all be encased, and also the decals. You don't want them to lift up because that would just be disastrous. So make sure you're very careful to get all the edges, all the seams go around real good. And then, you know, after you finish, you're gonna want to cure it for a full 60 seconds. I actually tend to put it in for 2 cures because I'm a paranoid person. So, yeah, set it to cure, and that is that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and that, you know, you enjoyed these Taemin nails. And I'll hopefully be back soon with another video of me making nails for my friends. Okay, have a good one.